to keep the chains moving and keep your offense on schedule, right? So they have a really good identity. I like their balance on offense. Defensively, they make the plays they need to make. And I think that's what's important. They don't let you gash them for big yards. Defensively, we saw them against Jackson. They're very good in the bend don't break type of defense. If you're going to score, it's going to have to be from outside the 20 type of thing because they're very stingy. A couple of 4th and 1 turnovers against the Ironmen. So they do everything right. They just they don't necessarily have the star power and firepower weapons that you might be accustomed to, but they got some guys that can play, and they got some serious weapons.
It's about being disciplined on all levels of the field. The Unioto Sherman Tanks doing a nice job of that early in the season, a big factor as to why they are 2-0. It's about to hit 10 o'clock, so we are going to step away for our first break of the evening. We'll come back hopefully having some call-ins from some broadcasters, maybe some coaches around the area, hearing a little bit about some of the action that's taking place on this Friday night, week 2. We'll be right back with Football Friday Nights.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
It's game on time, Southern Ohio. Time to sit on those metal bleachers and cheer loud for your favorite high school football team. The only thing that might make the night better is a more comfortable seat. You know I'm right. As a proud supporter of all the area teams here at Globe Furniture, we have the solution for you. A brand new recliner. And while that may not work at those high school games, college game day, NFL games at home, we've got you covered. Recliners starting at $5.99 right here at Globe Furniture in downtown Chillicothe.
Looking for the sleek, modern look of standing seam roofing without the premium price? Introducing the new Quad Rib panel from Higgins Steel Roofing. Quad Rib delivers the clean appearance homeowners love while using an exposed fastener system for faster, more affordable installation. Choose from 8 textured colors and 16 smooth colors to match any home or building. Get the look you want at a price you'll love. Visit Higgins Steel Roofing and ask about the new Quad Rib roofing panel.
Winter will be here before you know it. Now's the perfect time to make sure your furnace is ready before the cold air arrives. Trust Airclaw's Heating and Cooling for dependable maintenance, repairs, and new installations. They're locally owned, proudly serving all of Southeast Ohio, and servicing all brands to keep your family warm and comfortable all winter long. Find Airclaws online and call today. Airclaws, your local heating and cooling experts. Visit online and call today. Airclaws.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press
Representative! We've all been there. At Corby Leach State Farm, you can skip the phone maze because you'll talk to real humans. People who know your name, understand your community, and are ready to help protect what matters most. Auto, home, renters, life, or business insurance. You'll get real conversations and real help every step of the way. Call Corby Leach State Farm today at 740-385-6878.
Real humans, real help, real good neighbor.
When you find the place that feels right, you want to know you're in good hands. At Farmers Bank, we'll help you move forward with a mortgage that fits your life and a team that stays with you every step of the way. Working with someone local who gets to know and understand you can make all the difference. Let's get you home for good. Farmers Bank. Stay for good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 464173. Visit fbsc.com/welcome home.
You're listening to Football Friday Nights on Total Media Radio.
Welcome back to Football Friday Nights, the post-game show brought to you by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Action still wrapping up around the area for us.
Very exciting stuff for Rock Hill.
Of course, Rock Hill still with a timeout to go in this game. trailing by 3, as I mentioned, just a few ticks, 3 seconds over a minute to be exact, left in the fourth quarter down at a beautiful Boyd County Stadium. We'll take a few more looks around the area at some scores taking place. River Valley trails South Gallia in first overtime, actually, it appears now. South Gallia leads that one 12-6. I mentioned the Wilmington-Miami Trace game from earlier, 35-7. The Hurricanes leading in that one. Logan Elm playing host to the Westfall Mustangs, a 47-20 lead in the fourth quarter of that one. Fairland up 33-7. Traveling across state lines to take on Point Pleasant in West Virginia. As I've said, 33-7, that one in the fourth quarter. A few more looks around the area. Vinton County, let's talk about this for a minute, a little bit of a storyline for the Vinton County Vikings. Shutout last week. Offense looked stagnant for the majority of the game. The fourth quarter of this game, however, 53 points for the Vikings in a 20-point lead, 53-33 on the road over Paint Valley.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Paint Valley, it's things aren't looking great for Bearcats fans, but for Vinton County, this is what you needed to get things on the right track. You needed somebody who could show you these are the things that we're doing well, these are the things that we can work on, these are the things that we can build on as we look ahead towards what's about to become a TVC Ohio schedule here before long.
Yep.
So for Coach Games and his squad, that's a nice place to go in, get a victory. Short trip back all the way up Route 50. So, hopefully injury-free based on the sounds of the, Vinton County controlled this game. Those generally go injury-free, but you hope you stay injury-free and you move on to week 3. But yeah, I mean, a nice win for the Vikings to go on the road and get one. I know Vinton County, the MacArthur fans, they wanted that one for sure.
No doubt about it. And since we've talked a little bit about the Boyd County game, let's look around the area. Just a little bit, we'll dive into some Kentucky football action. Raceland, home of the Rams, playing host to Pleasure Ridge Park there out of Louisville. The Panthers, and Raceland leads that one 49-18. Talk about beautiful facilities. And, right there amongst the Ohio River, along the Ohio River there on the Kentucky side, a lot of beautiful stadiums there between Greenup County, Raceland, Boyd County, and a few other schools throughout the area. Another look, this game now in overtime. Speaking of which, Russell and Greenup County, 22 all now. As I mentioned, first overtime in that game. Wellston trailing Piketon, the Red Streaks at home, 30-8. Piketon leading in that one just in the third quarter. Alexander, we got a final from that game, 35-6 victory over Fedhawk.
It's a nice win.
Yes, it is.
It's a nice win.
Eastern Megs bounces back from that week 1 loss, 34-0 over Miller in that game. I mentioned the Logan Elm score already. We'll bounce through a few more here looking around the area. Belpre playing host to Sciotoville East at 49-0 in that contest.
Nice.
Few more around the area. I feel like I've already bounced through a lot of these.
No.
We've kind of done a pretty good job, I feel like.
I'll tell you what, we make short work quickly of our area scores.
Nothing wrong with that, and we try to be pretty efficient in our work. I feel like most of the time we seem to be doing a pretty good job for just kind of getting our feet wet here in the early part of the season. A few of these games have now gone final. The one we just spent some time talking about, Bronx Carpenter and Company in Sims Valley, the Vikings 55-14 over Megs. Just unbelievable offensive performance from Sims Valley. We need to, maybe take a deep dive into that schedule and see, how maintainable is this 55-point-a-game pace that we've seen now through 2 weeks into the season.
I can't wait. Let me get to it in my handy dandy playbook. There's 30,000 of these all over southeastern Ohio. If you need to get your hands on one, let us know. Riley will hand deliver one to your doorstep like a paper boy. We love it. All right, all the way to the end of Lawrence County here. All right, rounding out Larry County, Sims Valley. Obviously took down Megs tonight in a big way. Look ahead next week at Bern Union. Following week, 9-11 to go to South Point, and then FCA. So let me tell you what I'm seeing right now. Many opportunities for 50. Just throwing that out there. Don't see Green slowing things down. Beaver Eastern, this offense against the Beaver Eastern defense, and I'm hoping the Beaver Eastern's a little more healthy by then. I think that'll be more fun. But that game will be lights out at Beaver Eastern. We might have to make a business. Actually, that game is at Sims Valley down in Willowwood. So that'll be a phenomenal football game as well. Portsmouth East, Portsmouth Notre Dame, South Gallia. So, I mean, safe to say this offense could put up the most points it's ever put up in school history.
Yeah, and especially with the way the game's played nowadays. And really, when you talk about spread offense, when you talk about teams that are capable of throwing the ball 25, 30-plus times a game, it started kind of at the top with the NFL. We saw a lot of elite quarterbacks, especially, in recent memory. You have got your Aaron Rodgers, your Drew Brees, guys who kind of molded that more modern style of football. Of course, a lot of receiver help along the way with that, no doubt about it. Of course, always credit to the receivers, but also, not to mention the offensive line, giving your guy under center time to get the ball out, make those stretch those vertical plays down the field. But it kind of made its way from that professional level, and then it came down to college. We see that, a lot now. We saw it with Ohio State's offense. I talk about every Tuesday night on Ohio State show, especially with Brian Hartline being the OC there last year, and Julian saying just being lights out, throwing the ball down the field. He's never afraid to rip a seam. He has a Jeremiah Smith on the outside, makes his job a lot easier. And now it appears, especially in southeastern Ohio, the wishbone style offense, that tight formation, the bunch formations, we're starting to make its way a little bit. We're starting to use the width of the field a little bit.
It's evolving, right? It's evolving, and we're starting to see it still feels like Southern Ohio football, but it just it feels like Southern Ohio football played in space and less in the woods.
Yeah.
And nothing against it. I love everything that is Southern Ohio football. But for me, I love what we're seeing with the spread run game in southeastern Ohio. Especially, I think we've got some very undervalued athletes, particularly at the quarterback position in the rushing game. We've got some kids that can flat out do some damage on the ground with their legs, and as a kid, that's how I grew up playing the game. If you put me back there, at 5'10", I wasn't going to hang back there, stand in the pocket and throw the football. But I could make some things happen with my feet. So for me, watching like Mike Vick growing up and those types of things, that was an exciting way to play. But the quarterback position's it's evolved so much. It used to be, it used to be option and midline and things of those lines. If you wanted to get outside, make some things happen, and now that looks much more like zone reads and some design QB runs or some other things like that. So I love the evolution. Don't get me wrong, but everything comes full circle and. I think that some of these teams that are able to line up man to man, mano to mano, like we saw Chillicothe doing in pregame, that they eventually translated to in game tonight, where they were just lining up five guys basically on the right side, left side of that offense unbalanced. Saying, line up, we're going to try to stop me. I'm going to put my guys in the backfield, slow us down. Good luck, but there's still a time and place for that. But this quarterback play that we're seeing, some of it's just unbelievable.
Now, kind of speaking in the reverse to that, what we just talked about, the spread offense, the growth at the quarterback position all over the field, and it kind of starting at the top. Let's talk about something, that kind of starts, at the high school level, maybe even the middle school level. And I want to talk about these guys, especially wideouts, who we're seeing as two-way players playing on both sides of the ball. And especially, you have your guys like Cartay Ligon, and maybe, talking about that Chillicothe game is kind of what made the gears start turning on this in my brain. And, you're talking about a kid who is 17 years old, 18 years old, maybe even younger in a lot of cases, and they're having to play 60-plus, 70-plus snaps every, once a week. And just talk about, what's really the challenge with that? How affecting is that on the gas tank, once you get into week 10 or postseason play?
Can I tell you my favorite play of the night?
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying Cartay on the defensive side of the ball so far, but probably his interception on a play that looked like it was a sure touchdown, or at least a sure big gain play to a tight end that slipped right down a seam. And then Cartay, who was defending the other side of the field at free safety, just sneaks over, steals an interception with ease. With ease. And then has the wherewithal to work down the sidelines, cut back, and watching the young man run out of gas at the 4-yard line. We know what kind of athlete that is with the football in his hand. To watch him run out of gas at the 4-yard line, how exhausted his body must have felt just trying to put the ball across the goal line one more time for his team, only to be pulled down at the 4. That kid gave it everything he's got.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of many kids in southeastern Ohio on teams that are understaffed or undermanned, right? Every week, just go out there and try to get the job done. And I think that's what makes Southern Ohio football so special. D1 football, high school D1 that is awesome. Metropolitan football is a, I don't want to call it a different level, but it is. It's a different beast of football, right? But there's something about these guys that, they might only make it to week 10, 11, or 12. maybe not 13 or 14, but there's something about these guys that go out there, they're doing it on both sides of the ball, and they're playing special teams because they're the best athletes, so they're a kicker or a holder or a long snapper too, right? There's something about those guys that in Jackson we called those Iron Men.
And not to mention, going along with that, you talk about, maybe some guys only have one postseason game, if that, or maybe just 2 postseason games. A lot of these kids, the same kids who are these two-way, or even on special teams, 3-way players now, they get a week off, and then they are immediately jumping into basketball season.
Absolutely. So another thing that I look at, and actually, oh man, we got Dylan Bly calling him. We're gonna have to wait till we'll get him after the break here. But I looked at it like this. Okay, if every snap is 6 seconds, right? And let's say I get 100 plays every 2 games. Okay, well now I'm going to get 500 seconds of football my senior year, right? So what if I go ahead and play the other side of the ball too? Well, now instead of 500 seconds of football, I'm going to get 1,000 seconds of football, right? So I just doubled my time up on the field. So I'm doubling the time I'm playing the game. So in a weird way, that's the way I always thought. Yeah. That's the lens I always looked at it through, and that's what made it so special to me. But like you said, some of these guys only get 1 playoff game. I never played a playoff game. Played 4 years of high school football, never played a playoff game. These are special moments and special times, and these are things that you want those memories back with your buddies, just as much as I do, just as much as fans in the stands want those same moments back. So it's special, man, and to be out there as much as you can. I'm out there running as long as I can, and if you pull me down at the 4-yard line, so be it. I got 35 seconds, and I'll come back at you in the next play. That's what it's about.
Of course, Chillicothe, there at the end of that game, after that Carte-Ligon interception, deciding to go with a quarterback run. That
probably a good call.
Yeah, that play ended in 6 points. However, just the threat of Ligon being in the backfield, following that run, I believe that was shotgun formation, that run outside to the right. But nevertheless, man, it's crazy to consider, what some of these young kids are capable of. Like I mentioned, I was never personally, being a graduate of the South Webster Jeeps, very proud of it, of course, but was never had the opportunity to play high school football or really, delve myself into the atmosphere that is high school football. But now, kind of getting a closer frame of that.
To it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and just seeing what some of these kids are capable of, and then also, knowing what they've been capable of on the baseball diamond, on the basketball court, and also seeing it, here in the fall. It's really special. It's really special to see.
Yeah, and I think that's, we love those 3 sport athlete stories, right? Well, in a weird way, football, it's one sport, but 2 positions are completely different. It's almost like playing 2 different sports, offense and defense, right? So yes, it's the same sport, but it's almost like a 4-sport athlete in a weird sense. If you can play all those different things, it just makes you that much more of a versatile athlete, and it just extends that experience you get as a student athlete.
No doubt about it. I think we will go ahead and kick it over to our second break of the evening. Dylan Bly going to be calling in. He was on tap for that Chillicothe-Wheelersburg game. We cannot wait to hear what he has to say after the break. We'll come right back next on Football Friday Nights.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
It's game on time, Southern Ohio. Time to sit on those middle bleachers and cheer loud for your favorite high school football team. The only thing that might make the night better is a more comfortable seat. You know I'm right. As a proud supporter of all the area teams here at Globe Furniture, we have the solution for you. A brand new recliner. And while that may not work at those high school games, college game day, NFL games at home, we've got you covered. Recliners starting at $5.99 right here at Globe Furniture in downtown Chillicothe.
The Cavalier Skating Rink in Chillicothe offers a fun, wholesome activity for all ages. Public skating sessions are held every Friday and Saturday, also the first Tuesday of every month for Cheapskate Night, and our popular toddler skates the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. We specialize in birthday parties or have your next gathering at the Cavalier Skating Rink. We have parties during public sessions plus private parties. For all the details, check us out online, cavalierskatingrink.com. Come roll with us.
Looking for unbeatable deals on the gear you love? Then get to the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store in Nelsonville. Check out their buy one, get 2 free section. That's right, 3 pairs for the price of 1. Need another deal? Check out their rack shoes. Good hard-working boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
From first kicks to Friday night touchdowns, I'm Carrie, owner of a Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound right here in Jackson. At a Future Look, we're all about celebrating life's sweetest moments, bringing families together, and supporting the local athletes and families who make our community so special. From seeing your little one before they arrive to cheering them on from the sidelines years later, we're honored to be a part of your family's story. Visit afuturelook.com to book your ultrasound experience today, and follow A Future Look on Facebook for adorable baby moments, updates, and more. A Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound from first kicks to Friday night lights.
Danbury Cinemas in Chillicothe is your home for the hottest new movie releases and the best popcorn in town. Whether it's date night, a family fun movie night, or you're just out to catch the latest blockbuster, Danbury prides itself on making this theater feel like home. For the most up-to-date list of movies and showtimes, visit our website at danbury.com or download the Danbury app on your mobile device. We look forward to seeing you very soon at the movies.
The Area Agency on Aging District 7 offers personalized support and resources to help you navigate aging with confidence. From free assessments to community programs, the AAA 7 connects individuals with resources to support a healthier, happier, and more independent life. Have a question? AAA 7's Friendly Resource Center staff is ready to help. Call 1-800-582-7277 or email info@aaa7.org, because everyone deserves to age with dignity and support.
WKOV, Oak Hill, Jackson. A Total Media Group station.
Football Friday Nights is Total Media Sports' high-energy celebration of high school football, bringing listeners straight to the sidelines for the biggest games, the biggest rivalries, and moments of the week, with live updates and scores after the games, to highlights and hometown stories from across the region. It captures the passion, pride, and tradition that make Friday nights unforgettable. Football Friday Nights, presented by the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store, is brought to you by
The Rocky Outdoor Gear Store, Vinton County National Bank, Area Agency on Aging District 7, Holzer Health System, Globe Furniture, Stockmeister Construction, A.T. Hoy Transportation, A Future Look, Atomic Credit Union, Willis Advantage Property Solutions, Rick's Tire and Auto, Adina, Higgins Steel Roofing, Austin Powder, Corby Leach Insurance Agency, Air Claws Heating and Cooling, Farmers Bank, and Coad.
Welcome back to Football Friday Nights, presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Now, we've been sitting here since 9:30, and you guys have heard us talk about this Chillicothe-Wheelersburg matchup pretty much nonstop. So how about we hear from the expert, Mr. Dylan Bly, going to be joining us. He was on tap at the game for the entire 48 minutes of action. Eric, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
Dylan, I appreciate you taking the time to extend your Friday evening just to be a part of ours for a night. Go ahead and take us through what you saw from Herrnstein Field this evening in an action-packed game that saw Chillicothe come out on top 26-18.
Absolutely, Eric. Well, first of all, I just want to say the only thing this game was missing was a gallon of kerosene and a box of matches. This was an absolute barn burner. I will tell you that up front right now. It was action from start to finish, just an absolute masterclass. It was a little bit lackluster in the first three quarters. What really stood out to me was that in the first half, Wheelersburg didn't really get much of a pass attack established. Chillicothe kind of was spreading the ball out pretty equally. Yeah. You had Tay Harris, went 5 for 9 with 77 yards in the first half. In the entire second half, Chillicothe did not attempt a single pass the rest of the game. The FAA called, said all flights are grounded, just run the darn ball, and run the ball they did. They ran the ball, and would you believe it? Carte Ligon had himself another stellar game again.
No way.
He only had, I know. In the first half, only had 48 rushes. He ended the game with a final stat line. I've got it pulled up right here. 26 carries, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, there are 2 big moments that I want to walk you guys through. With about 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter, it was 12-3 Chillicothe. Wheelersburg, they had the ball at the 6-yard line. Jack Dorr scored on a 6-yard RPO. On the ensuing kickoff, a special teams mishap. No fair catchers called. Wheelersburg gets the ball back at the 3-yard line, and they punch it in again. So they score 15 points in a matter of 7 seconds. And then if you thought that was crazy, about 4 minutes later, Wheelersburg has the ball at the Chillicothe 45. They're looking to put the game just out of reach. Carte Ligon comes up with the interception, runs it back, goes from the far sideline to the near sideline and back 65 yards, almost has another pick six in back-to-back weeks, and then he punches it in again from 5 yards out to swing the pendulum back even further. And then immediately after that, if you thought that couldn't get any crazier, Wheelersburg muffs the swift kick, and Chillicothe recovers to ice the game out. So the final 8 minutes of action was enough to give you heart palpitations. I mean, it was just electric from start to finish. But that ending is like, I mean, I was telling Jay Collins, Martin Scorsese couldn't have written a better ending to a better ending to a moment than that. That was incredible game.
Well, you paint the perfect picture of it. I mean, you give all the detail that we were hoping to hear there from Herrnstein Field, man. And obviously, Carte kind of the standout guy tonight. But you mentioned a couple other names as well. There's some key pieces around Carte I thought that played really, really well. Kayvon Pleasant, quarterback, it punched one in there late. Obviously, did his piece there. But obviously these guys up front too, they're kind of the key pieces, man. And the way that this offense works and the way that they block, they pull somebody about every play. And that's one thing I noticed. There's a lot of movement up front between all those guys up front. What'd you see from the guys around Carte this evening?
So honestly, like just like I was telling Jake, it wasn't pretty, but it was definitely gritty. There was a lot of indiscipline on both sides of the ball, actually, because one of my keys to the game in the pregame show was that Chillicothe, they have to watch their steps. They're going to be tiptoeing around landmines. They had so many penalties last week. Wheelersburg did too against Portsmouth last week. Both teams had opportunities for big plays, either get snuffed out completely or taken back because of very big penalties. Like, we had way more 15-yard penalties in this game than we did 5-yard penalties, and that was on both ends of the ball. So if I were to give like a report card, honestly, like the offensive line and the defensive line for Chillicothe did a pretty decent job. I wouldn't say it was perfect by any means, because they had a lot of false starts. They had a lot of holdings, had a lot of penalties that were called, and that wiped out massive plays. But I mean, all in all, like, very, very solid effort. Carte Ligon doing everything on both sides of the ball as we expected him to. But yeah, I would say in general, the lines just didn't really move as solid as they were supposed to, and that goes for both teams. Like, I was kind of surprised at the amount of indiscipline that I saw on both ends, and there was a lot of plays. In fact, the very first score of the game for Chillicothe, which was I think a 4-yard punch in by Tay Harris.
You're right.
That only happened because of 2 back-to-back 15-yard penalties against Wheelersburg on consecutive plays. So there were a lot of opportunities that were taken away and given to the other team. You can say that for both sides, but for Chillicothe, like, this game could have turned out anyway. Like this game could have ended 12-3. It could have been 43-3. It could have been 30-30 for all we know. This game could have gone any which way. Chillicothe found a way to tough it out, get down and dirty, and they came out with a statement win. Like, this is a huge win for a Cavaliers program that has desperately needed attention in the Buckeye State.
Yeah, they've needed some real attention for a long time. This is a program that's itching for a playoff win. 2008. You got to go back to 2008 to see the last Cavaliers playoff victory. And this is a program, as I said, that's itching. They're hungry. And this is a huge win tonight. You mentioned the statement win tonight. Next week, you take on Western Brown. You travel to Mount Orab to do that. What are you thinking and expecting next week as you head west to take on the Broncos?
Well, next week is the start of a 4-game road stretch, so you don't have any of the home field of the home crowd advantage. And believe me, with that blackout tonight, both bleachers, both bleachers, especially Wheelersburg, especially Chillicothe, their fans came out, they got loud, and they brought the energy. For the next 4 straight weeks, they're not going to have that advantage. But something that really caught my eye, or that I clung to, was in our post-game interview. We had the honor to actually interview TJ Carper in our booth, and he said that what happened in this game is just a testament to the kind of kids that are at Chillicothe. Like, they've had like not so easy lives. Like they haven't gotten the respect that they quite frankly deserve in their personal lives. And that this game, with as much mud that was thrown in their faces, backs to the wall, feet to the fire, they found a way to overcome the odds, overcome the adversity, and take down a monumental opponent. We saw a big test of it right here, but for the next 4 straight weeks, 4 consecutive road games. And, you go out to Mount Orab, then you're up at Hamilton Township, then you're way back out in the Cincinnati area at Wilmington.
Yeah.
So it's like these Cavaliers are going to get they're definitely going to get their frequent flyer miles and going all across the great state of Ohio. But I think what needs to happen is obviously we need to see a lot of cleaning up. I was telling Jake, it might have been a good win, but that film room session is not going to be very pretty. I wouldn't want to be a fly on the wall in that room because they're going to have a lot of notes to take, a lot of mistakes to clean up. But ultimately, this is a good win and all, but they're not quite satisfied. If they can go on the road and make some waves outside of the city limits of Chillicothe, then we're going to talk. Then come the end of September, come the first few weeks of October, we're going to have some serious conversations about the Chillicothe Cavaliers.
The next 3 weeks of that 4-game road stretch, I think, will tell a really telling tale about where Chillicothe really sits after a really nice win tonight against Wheelersburg. Dylan Bly, the color commentary for the Chillicothe Cavaliers. Appreciate you taking the time to join us on your Friday evening. Why don't you go ahead and get to your own Friday evening now, my friend? You've earned it.
Absolutely, I will do. Thank you guys for having me on. This has been a fun night, and what a game.
Yes,
thank you.
Nothing else to say. What a game.
Yes, sir. More from you at later points this season. Appreciate your time. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for Dylan with us, man. But you got to stick around. We got to head to a break here. But when we return, we got the General down in Tiger Town to tell us what tale he saw between the Waverly Tigers and the Zane Trace Pioneers that saw the Pioneers come out on top 27-20. But we know the General gives a solid report from his team. So, well, we'll step aside here for a moment, and we'll let the General tell the tale when we return. Keep it right here. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
The Area Agency on
From first kicks to Friday night touchdowns, I'm Carrie, owner of a Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound right here in Jackson. At a Future Look, we're all about celebrating life's sweetest moments, bringing families together, and supporting the local athletes and families who make our community so special. From seeing your little one before they arrive to cheering them on from the sidelines years later, we're honored to be a part of your family's story. Visit afuturelook.com to book your ultrasound experience today, and follow A Future Look on Facebook for adorable baby moments, updates, and more. A Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound, from first kicks to Friday night lights.
Ahoy, matey! Be ye ready to leave the scallywags behind and join a crew worth sailing with? A.G. Hoy Transportation is now hiring drivers. If you've got a strong work ethic and you're looking for a company that values its crew, your ship has come in. So hoist the colors, climb aboard, and chart a course toward a rewarding career with A.T. Hoy Transportation. A.T. Hoy provides fast and reliable transportation for Hocking, Ross, and Benton counties. Don't miss the boat. Call 740-596-0536.
Winter will be here before you know it. Now's the perfect time to make sure your furnace is ready before the cold air arrives. Trust Airclaw's Heating and Cooling for dependable maintenance, repairs, and new installations. They're locally owned, proudly serving all of Southeast Ohio, and servicing all brands to keep your family warm and comfortable all winter long. Find Airclaws online and call today. Airclaws, your local heating and cooling experts. Visit online and call today. Airclaws.
The Area Agency on Aging District 7 offers personalized support and resources to help you navigate aging with confidence. From free assessments to community programs, the AAA 7 connects individuals with resources to support a healthier, happier, and more independent life. Have a question? AAA 7's Friendly Resource Center staff is ready to help. Call 1-800-582-7277 or email info@aaa7.org, because everyone deserves to age with dignity and support.
COAD Senior Programs is a proud sponsor of all of Southeastern Ohio football programs and all of their student athletes. To become an AmeriCorps Senior Volunteer who makes a difference in your community, call 740-594-8499 or find them on the web by searching COAD Senior Programs. COAD, improving the quality of life for individuals and families in Appalachian, Ohio since 1971.
Yes, the 4th of July fireworks may be over, but the festivities for America's 250th birthday are still in full swing. Because at America 250 Ohio, we're honoring both America and our state with hundreds of events in all 88 Ohio counties. From historic talks to Ohio-related films to driving trails of discovery. So go to America250Ohio.org to find an event near you, because there's never been a better time to honor this amazing place we all call home. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
Joint, or muscle pain keep you on the sidelines. Whether it's a sports injury, sprain, or strain, the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute Express Clinic offers walk-in care with no appointment needed. Get expert orthopedic care quickly. Visit adina.org/express clinic for more information. That's adina.org/express clinic.
Coad Senior Programs is a proud sponsor of all of Southeastern Ohio football programs and all of their student athletes. To become an AmeriCorps senior volunteer who makes a difference in your community, call 740-594-8499 or find them on the web by searching COAD Senior Programs. COAD, improving the quality of life for individuals and families in Appalachia, Ohio since 1971.
Winter will be here before you know it. Now's the perfect time to make sure your furnace is ready before the cold air arrives. Trust Airclaws Heating and Cooling for dependable maintenance, repairs, and new installations. They're locally owned, proudly serving all of Southeast Ohio, and servicing all brands to keep your family warm and comfortable all winter long. Find Airclaws online and call today. Airclaws, your local heating and cooling experts. Visit online and call today. Airclaws.
Looking for unbeatable deals on the gear you love? Then get to the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store in Nelsonville. Check out their buy one, get two free section. That's right, 3 pairs for the price of 1. Need another deal? Check out their rack shoes. Good hard-working boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
For more than 90 years, Austin Powder Red Diamond Plant has been part of the Southern Ohio community. Today, that legacy is stronger than ever. With a commitment to doing things better than ever before, Austin Powder continues investing in the people and communities that make this region strong. Austin Powder is accepting applications for CDL drivers with team driving positions, offering the opportunity to earn up to $100,000 a year. Don't have your CDL? They'll pay for your schooling. Apply at austinpowder.com/United-States/careers or call 740-596-5286 today.
The Cavalier Skating Rink in Chillicothe offers a fun, wholesome activity for all ages. Public skating sessions are held every Friday and Saturday, also the first Tuesday of every month for Cheap Skate Night, and our popular toddler skates the second and fourth Wednesday of the month. We specialize in birthday parties or have your next gathering at the Cavalier Skating Rink. We have parties during public sessions plus private parties. For all the details, check us out online, cavalierskatingrink.com. Come roll with us.
Strength, passion, determination. Every moment that moves you and every movement that drives you. When pain or injuries try to limit you, our orthopedic team at Holzer has the latest treatment options and robotic-assisted surgery with joint replacement, sports medicine, and therapies to keep you moving forward. Every movement, every step, every moment. Think Holzer first.
You're listening to Football Friday Nights on Total Media Radio.
Welcome back to Football Friday Nights, presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Of course, this being the post-game version, currently 10:46 p.m. If you're listening from bed, I applaud you on not falling asleep on us just quite yet. If I weren't on here, if I weren't so amped up to be talking about high school football, I might be in the same boat. We'll take a few more looks at some scores around the area. That the mighty Memphis Falcons from just down the road, a 28-13 victory over the Chesapeake Panthers. We might be hearing from someone down in that neck of the woods just here in a moment. Vinton County, a 60-burger in Week 2, 60-33 victory on the road, taking on the Paint Valley Bearcats. Two pretty crazy scores in my book, two games games that, like I mentioned, we'll try to get some people on the horn here to talk to. But real quick, something we can mention, a Saturday contest, of course, taking place tomorrow. The only game in our coverage area tomorrow, a 1 o'clock kickoff down in the other Tiger Town, right on the verge of the Ohio River at Tanks Memorial Stadium. It's the Ironton Fighting Tigers playing host to Salem, the Rams, from all the way up in New Jersey. Not the first time that these two teams have faced off, but Eric, Jason Filial going to be down there for that tomorrow. I'm going to try to get in touch with him on site that one tomorrow. He's awesome. He will give us all the insight you could ever need on Ironton Fighting Tigers football. What are you thinking, when it comes to this matchup?
Well, first of all, there's a reason they call that man the Tiger King. So, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. He loves him some Tiger football, and Tiger football loves him back down there. But you're going to be in an exciting atmosphere. This is going to be a fun day of football down there in Ironton. I can't imagine what you're in for. I mean, anytime this team takes the field this season, like we've said all season or all off season, it's going to be must see. The long week for Ironton, so I look for this team to be very well prepared. It's a long trip for the Rams of Salem, right? So, this is just one of those games you don't really know if Salem knows what they're getting into, and that's what that's a long trip. You don't know much about Ohio football, right? And Ohio football is a different beast than New Jersey football. I'm not sure if anyone else that listens to this program is aware of that. New Jersey football and Ohio football aren't the same, and Ironton is a perennial state Division 5 powerhouse at their level, whereas the Rams, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, were winless just a couple of years ago. So right now, just programs that aren't really on the same level. I feel like Ironton's going to kind of have their way with the Rams tomorrow. I think we both feel comfortably about that. But it's just, again, without Trevin Pendleton on the sidelines, it'll be very interesting to see how that game kind of transpires. But I'm excited for that program to get him back next week without looking too far ahead here against the McNicholas team. I think it'll be pretty good.
I will take a slight look ahead for this Ironton team. As I mentioned, that matchup with the Rams tomorrow at 1 p.m., Tanks Memorial Stadium. Be there or be square if you want to see some good high school football action coming to you on a Saturday. We will have a team down there streaming all the action for that one. We look ahead the week after that, a game we're contemplating being on site for. I think we're kind of looking that way, and all systems might be a go sometime next week. But Ironton once again playing host, this time against Archbishop McNicholas, a team that Southern Ohio football fans are going to be a lot more familiar with than this Salem team. Of course, McNicholas, highly touted, a very prestigious program in their own regard, have taken on a few opponents down near the Ohio River, near the Scioto County area, a few run-ins with the Wheelersburg Pirates over the past few years. So that one going to be an interesting one. I actually want to look ahead just one more week. Ironton going on the road for the second time this season. We talked about back in week 1 last Thursday, actually. They went all the way up to Williamsburg. So now they get 2 home games. Following that, they're taking the trek straight down south to take on Somerset. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, you head down the road south, you get down there to Bowling Green. You're going to see the neat Corvette Museum with the big sinkhole. You're going to see the racetrack right across the street. You make your way down the road a little further, you're going to run into Somerset, which at that point, you're nearly in Tennessee.
Right.
So, just going to be another long road trip. However, this is the kind of games that Ironton likes to schedule.
Love them.
And, of course, not only with that are you getting some premier competition, you're getting a lot of different types of pacing in your games. You're really, at the end of the day, preparing yourself for that post-week 10 play that, like we mentioned before, Ironton was robbed of just a year ago. They're seeking revenge. It showed in that week 1 42-0 shutout of Williamsburg. So really, what is kind of the strategy besides that preparation, getting these different looks, and you're scheduling some of these opponents who are pretty unique?
I think for Coach Pendleton, it seems to be challenging his team in as many ways as he can before it really counts, right? And we talk about the 69 total playoff wins and the 39 playoff appearances, right? And everything that the last year's team missed out on the opportunity of, which included, a chance to defend the crown that they held the year before, and that created a whole lot of resentment down there in Ironton for a number of different bodies and entities in the moment. But like I said, this program's built for the playoffs, and that's what Trevin Pendleton sees, and he wants to give his guys as many challenges in as many different ways, be it travel or opponents with limited knowledge and information, right? Or, hey, I'm sitting two games this season. How are we going to respond to that? How are we going to, because these 2 games are going to be a test of whether we perform in weeks 11 through 15, 16, right? Or not. So these 2 weeks paint such a big picture of what the end of the season could be for this team. So it's just another set of challenges and circumstances. And I think that his team, what separates him or his team from other teams in the area, is they recognize these challenges and take them on head on a little bit better than other programs do. And well, that's why he's got an 8-10 win percentage at a school.
That's right. And like I mentioned, another thing to look forward to, of course, the week following that being week 5 action at that point, coming up to right down the road from where we are sitting right now, taking on the Jackson Ironmen right there up on the hill. A big Walnut. Ironton playing host in that one again. Bloomington South, another home game at Tanks Memorial Stadium. Then on the road to Harvest Prep. And if you know anything about high school football in Ohio from the last 10, 15, 20 years, you've absolutely heard of Harvest Prep at least a time or two.
Yeah.
Then back at home for Gallia Academy, and finally a game that Ironton actually had to forfeit a year ago at home against Portsmouth. Now this time on the road, traveling to Portsmouth, down 52. They're heading west to take on them to wrap up regular season action. So, like I said, it's definitely a mixed bag for Ironton. It's some unique options, and I think we talk about how different the offenses look, not only in Southern Ohio, Southeastern Ohio football, but now you're really expanding that horizon to Southwestern Ohio. You're moving into Central Ohio. You're looking at pretty much in all the crevices possible. And, part of this is because Ironton, ever since dumping out of the OVC, has that freedom of schedule. You're seeing, like I just said, opponents from all over the place. It feels like you're seasoned when you're only a few weeks into the season. You don't have to, play that full 10-week schedule to be like, okay, now we're ready for postseason play. And Ironton does a nice job. They might get to week 3, week 4, and it feels like, well, we've already been all over the place. So that's gonna help us at the end of the day, if anything.
Yeah, a few years ago too, Ironton was taking on Salem over at Chillicothe Hermstein Field, actually, where we were just at just before their state championship. And as Coach Pendleton's team awaited to take the field when their opponent should have, Coach Pendleton inspired his team to take the field by saying, well, I'll leave the fun words out, but he said, hey, we don't wait on nobody, right? And that just showed me the mindset. We don't wait on anybody. We'll play you anybody. We'll play anytime, anywhere, right? They played the Canadian School of Football at Green, right? And they're like, okay, the tank got its roof blown off. So what? Let's go play down the road, right? And that's the mindset that these people operate with, and it says so much about what football means to these people and where it stands in the priorities of their lives from the time they're players, right? We got to interact with a few of the little boys down there, the few of the little players, including Coach Jared Pendleton's younger boy, Brox, right? Down there at Midnight Madness, and it was just so much fun. But you see the passion that lies in these kids and these fans and these people, and that's what makes it so special.
That competitiveness just being instilled early,
so young.
I know,
so young.
And for a lot of people, it kind of warrants mixed reactions. Like, is this? Sometimes almost the word is almost, is it appropriate, for kids this young to have that competitive nature instilled? But down there in Ironton, it's the fact of the matter is that is. What makes that community of Ironton the soul, really Ironton. It's what makes Ironton Ironton. It absolutely is everything. And I think, now scheduling these types of opponents, getting, like I mentioned before, such a mixed bag, it just plays into that role so much more. And I think, not only with that, and actually looking at that 1 o'clock matchup tomorrow, it might play to Ironton's disadvantage. They can't show off the lights because it'll be during the day. But, that's what that's another thing I think. think of. You go to Tanks Memorial Stadium for a night game.
Yeah.
The lights are flickering between orange and white. They are blinding. If you're in the locker room, if you're a player, whether home or away, you hear the Ironton fans right above you stomping. They're yelling. They are, just getting after it in every sense of the way. And if you are an opposing player in that away locker room, what kind of headspace does that get you in before you've even touched the field?
It's anyone can tell you what they want to tell you, but it's in your head.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like I said, I've said this before on this program. You're getting dressed in that locker room, and just so we're all on the same page, Tank Memorial Stadium, is a beautiful place. However, that visiting locker room just could use some work. Little touch up down there for the visitors. I'm just saying, hey, beautiful place, but they're not interested in making that place any more comfortable for those outsiders, right? So it's not a particularly pleasant place to have to get dressed anyway. But then, like I said, you got the whole town of Ironton standing on top of you, and there's no way to get it out of your head. It sounds from the second you walk in that building, and on top of that, it feels like when you're on the field, you're playing against 50 players.
Yeah.
It's like, we talk about these ghosts of these people, these players pass, and it feels like every time you snap the ball, there's 3 strong safeties lined up.
Yep.
Or, there's something weird happens. And there's something about that place. There's something about that environment. From the time you walk in, as you mentioned, to the time you get dressed, to the time you're taking the coin toss, looking at the crowd, out there at midfield. It's a special environment, man, and I think that's why it's just one of those places that make football in Southern Ohio what it is. Tank Memorial Stadium.
Stadium Pulse, kind of what it's called now in the modern day. For those who have played EA Sports College football, very familiar with that terminology. But of course, Stadium Pulse alive and well down there in Ironton, as well as many other venues in our area. And we are just so grateful to be just a small part of that and getting to, take that in as much as possible, especially in our pregame show being on site. We'll actually step away for a quick break here. It's about to hit 11 o'clock. We got 1 hour of coverage left for you. A few more interviews to look forward to. We're going to try to get Coach Rusty Richards on the horn. A 2-0 start for his Nelsonville York Buckeyes. We'll come right back after a quick break on Football Friday Nights.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press
Representative! We've all been there.
Don't let bone, joint, or muscle pain keep you on the sidelines. Whether it's a sports injury, sprain, or strain, the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute Express Clinic offers walk-in care with no appointment needed. Get expert orthopedic care quickly. Visit adina.org/express clinic for more information. That's adina.org/express clinic. For more than 90 years, Austin Powder Red Diamond Plant has been part of the Southern Ohio community. Today, that legacy is stronger than ever. With a commitment to doing things better than ever before, Austin Powder continues investing in the people and communities that make this region strong. Austin Powder is accepting applications for CDL drivers with team driving positions offering the opportunity to earn up to $100,000 a year. Don't have your CDL? They'll pay for your schooling. Apply at austinpowder.com/United-States/careers or call 740-596-5286 today.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press
Representative! We've all been there. At Corby Leach State Farm, you can skip the phone maze because you'll talk to real humans. People who know your name, understand your community, and are ready to help protect what matters most. Auto, home, renters, life, or business insurance. You'll get real conversations and real help every step of the way. Call Corby Leach State Farm today at 740-385-6878.
Real humans, real help, real good neighbor.
At Farmers Bank, when we say stay for good, we mean it in every way. We mean to stay for good for the long haul, through the ups and downs and everything in between. But we also mean to stay for good for bringing good things to good people who call this place home. The good of a community well connected, a business well built, a family well loved, a life well lived. Every day and in every way, we stay for good. Farmers Bank. Stay for good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for the sleek, modern look of standing seam roofing without the premium price? Introducing the new Quad Rib panel from Higgins Steel Roofing. Quad Rib delivers the clean appearance homeowners love while using an exposed fastener system for faster, more affordable installation. Choose from 8 textured colors and 16 smooth colors to match any home or building. Get the look you want at a price you'll love. Visit Higgins Steel Roofing and ask about the new quad rib roofing panel.
Looking for unbeatable deals on the gear you love? Then get to the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store in Nelsonville. Check out their buy one, get two free section. That's right, 3 pairs for the price of 1. Need another deal? Check out their rack shoes. Good hard-working boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Keep your athlete in action with Holzer's Saturday morning sports injury clinics. Dr. Kelly Rausch and Charles Zurenberg offer Saturday morning sports clinics at Holzer Sycamore in Gallipolis and the Holzer Jackson Clinic on Pattonsville Road every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. during the fall sports season. Dr. Rausch and Dr. Z have the experience to keep your athlete in action. No appointment necessary. Walk-ins are welcome.
Big projects, tough challenges, strong communities.
For more than 80 years, Stockmeister Construction Services has helped shape Southern Ohio through trusted construction, design-build solutions, mechanical contracting, and custom fabrication.
Learn more at stockmeister.com or call 740-286-8000. Looking for a rewarding career? Visit jobs.stockmeister.com. Stockmeister Construction Services. We can do together.
And Elliot on him, he's a gamer. He accepted the challenge, and he got us once. It was 35-0. They hit us for about a 60-yard slant. And Grant had 4 interceptions tonight and 2 pick sixes and several batted down balls. And I think he won about 10 in a row. And he finally did give up one play there, so we'll take that. But yeah, he set a school record with 4 interceptions in the game, and like I said, 2 of them went back for 6. So our defense helped us out a lot tonight.
It's me to hear, what he did there tonight, and just really talk me through what has kind of been instilled on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, back-to-back weeks putting up 40-plus points. You mentioned a little bit of help from the defensive side on the scoring aspect, that is. But what have you really liked about early in the season, how you've been able to get the offense rolling and how they've been able to push the tempo and really control the clock in these first 2 games?
Yeah, we're quite a bit different here at Boston. So these first 2 weeks, we've thrown the ball. We threw the ball 27 times. We had 25 carries, and some of those were like in that fourth quarter, just trying to run the clock out. But Cam Solomon threw for 313 yards tonight. Another touchdown.
Wow.
230 plus last week. Last week it probably took us 5 weeks to get to 500 yards. We've done it in 2 weeks. So it's just a different team. We're going to have to, our play calling. I'm calling plays to get our receivers. We had 6 different guys catch the ball tonight, and actually we had 5 with over 3 catches. So we're just spreading the ball around, and we're getting the ball at our speed. We're not just ground and pound anymore, and we're still trying to work on our run game to keep it so when we need it and to ground that tough yards out in the fourth quarter. But we're just going to be different. Like I said, we said that from day one. We're going to change our play calling. We can't recruit in another Austin Gauthier or Dakota Cunningham, so we're doing it with more speed this year, spreading the ball out.
So that balanced attack, is starting to become a staple throughout southeastern Ohio, but especially in your offense. And as I mentioned, it's been so apparent. I want to look ahead the next few weeks. We mentioned you start off the week at Boston Field for your first 2 matchups of the season, but now you go to Coal Grove, you go to River Valley, you go to Waterford, 3 straight road games. What does the mentality of this team need to be going on the road, especially just looking ahead? I know, of course, you like to just take things 1 week at a time, just looking ahead to that Coal Grove matchup next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a far bus trip for us. We'll feed the kids after school. We're going to get on the bus, take a 2 hour, a little over 2 hours. So it's our first. Well, it's our second road trip. We went to New Life for the Jamboree, but that's a little bit closer. So yeah, we got a few over hour trips. We just got to take care of business each week. And Coal Grove's going to throw a whole different experience at us. Trumbull wants to run the ball, but they're spread. Logan was more throws the ball probably more than they run it, but they tested us tonight with their run game. Their number 27 runs hard. But yeah, this week we're getting old school wing tee, fullback trap, belly, buck sweep, all that stuff. So, we was in a 3 a lot tonight, 3 men front, a little bit of 4. We're probably going to be more in a 5 or a 6 next week. So, some of our DBs probably won't play as much, and some of these big guys will get a little bit more loving this week as far as playing time, and we'll just adjust. And and then week 5, week 4, I'm not sure what River Valley they got. I think they got new staff right now.
Yeah.
And then obviously Waterford's spread the run, and it's a whole different animal. So, but yeah, we just got to adjust each week. We just got to keep getting better. Logan threw a lot of blitzes at us. At times we picked it up, and at times Cam did a good job of just taking off. So I think he had one time they sacked us. Other than that, he somehow got out of it. I mean, he was our leading rusher. Also with our passers. So they spread out. We're going to run him back up the middle. If they don't spread out, we're just going to keep dinking and dunking and hope our guys make some plays. But again, like I said, we had 6 guys catch the ball. I mean, tickled to death with. It's not just one guy. You got to stop us all. Jackson Blake. I've been waiting on him to come out of the woodwork. He had a 60-yard touchdown. And he had another 3 catches. Wow. Had a heck of a game. We threw a couple of spot passes. They came up, pump fake. We sent Jackson deep, and Cam hit him right in stride. And then all of a sudden, it loosened him back up, and we went back to the dink and dunk. So, again, just different football team. We don't have Caleb Layton's not out there anymore, and we're just having to do it by committee. But the one thing we need to work on, we didn't tackle very well tonight at times. So, hats off to their running backs. But, we're going to tackle next week. So we're going to get a lot of fullback trap and a lot of, buck sweep and counter right at us next week at Cold Grove.
I'm glad you mentioned tackling because that was where I was going to take things next. I know you're doing a lot of things well right now, Coach. But as a coach that calls us from the film room, it seems like every Friday I know that improvement and figuring out what the next step forward is for your team. So you mentioned tackling on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, what's one adjustment you think your team needs to be better or needs to do better or make if you want to get to where you hope to be as the season progresses?
Just getting our balance with our run game. Like I said, we got our passing game spot on, tickled to death with that. But, there's just been times we've lined up and said, you know what, hey, we're going to run at you.
Yeah.
We've done okay, but we haven't just hit those big plays yet. And, we got to be able to get Walker Stone loose. He's a 5'8", 205 pounds, got great speed.
Yeah.
Noah Arnold. But, just been times like, we got that 2 or 3, but like, man, we got to get another hat on the hat and
what's missing?
Get these guys moved. So
what do you see that's missing that needs that oomph to get that extra yardage you're missing?
It's one guy. It's just one guy. It's
Every
just lack of communication. It's not like it's one kid, but it's just, it's a tight end one play.
Yeah.
Next play, maybe it's a fullback. Next play, and maybe they just shot a gap and we just didn't take the right footwork. So it's just little things. Like, it's fixable. We got time to get this stuff right. But we were better this week than we were last week. I mean, as far as that kind of stuff. So just sitting here watching the film, and it's just like, seems like somebody takes a mental play off or it just takes the wrong step. So again, we're new up front. We got Caleb Morris back, so it's just getting those guys to gel together. Notice, you get all that summer with 7-on-7, and it's easy to get all that practice to throwing the ball around, but it's like your lineman that you just can't get enough work for. So, but again, Coach Chapman, Coach Logie, our line guys, they're on it. And, we were better. Just and then at times they brought 7 guys tonight, so it's like, hey. Like I told our guys, hey, they're going to sit back and let us throw it on them all night. Or eventually, they're just going to bring some smoke. So we got to be able to give Cam just a little bit of time and get our check downs on our passes. And but again, like I said, 2-0. Do we got work to do? Heck, yes, we do. We're not far. We're far from perfect. So that's the good news.
Yeah,
we're 2-0 and we still got room to grow.
Yep,
and we will do that. So.
We look forward to seeing what your team, how they grow, how they progress, and how your team gets better each and every week. We appreciate you taking the time to call in 2 weeks in a row. We love hearing from you, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You guys have a great weekend.
You do the same. Thank you. Head coach of the Nelsonville York Buckeyes, Rusty Richards, taking the time to join us here in studio. And he's always such an insightful a conversation, and I love what he had to say about his team. It's only one guy every time, and every play that you draw up or that Coach Richards calls, is designed to score a touchdown, right? There's only one guy left unblocked. That's the safety most plays, and whatever. But sometimes it doesn't always go that way. You end up with 3, you end up with 6, you end up with 7. But in his mind, everything is designed to go one way. That's score a touchdown. And he's not going to sleep at night until that's the case.
And it feels like sometimes we get drawn into, this guy's the standout player. He's the impact player. He's the X factor for this team. And we forget it's all about a cohesive unit. It is. It really is at all levels of the field, whether it be, the offensive side, go to the defensive side. And even look at some of the plays tonight. Look at that at the Chillicothe-Wheelersburg game. It's about special teams, too, just as much as it is the offensive or defensive end. So that cohesiveness is, one of the things that really is tough to mesh together, I should say, when it comes to building a well-oiled machine. And, you're taking kids who, as I've already said before, they're high school age. They're, ages 15 through 18, maybe at the oldest. And you're trying to, mesh 11 of them together at a time, plus that. And, it can be definitely an uphill battle. It takes the right kind of person. And it seems in the case of the Buckeyes, it is Rusty Richards.
Yeah, it is. And people forget, too, in Ohio, we've got such few practice days with these kids. And, such few days in the summer with these kids. And to see the products that get put on the field with the coaching staffs and the volunteers that are out there and just all these pieces, program in and program out. But Rusty does such a good job with his team and in the program he's built and the buy-in that he's got within that whole community now in his 12th season with the program. And we say this, there's a reason the guy's won 739% of his 739 in his win percentage, right? So it's just like I said, hats off to him. He's built a machine up there, and they're going to go on the road for 3 straight games, and that one against Waterford on 9/18. Gonna be a football game. Gonna be a football game, man.
Gonna be a tough road test there, week 5. One game we will absolutely have our eyes on come the middle of September. And you look at it, that whole September schedule, you mentioned those first 3 games on the road, then finally you're thinking, we get to come back home there on September 25th. And then all of a sudden you realize you have the Megs Marauders coming to town, who are no slouch in their own right. And then, you look down the schedule, of course, you have some games that you look at, you can build on some things. It's good to put into practice and really get ready for postseason. But then at the end of your season, you have the Athens Bulldogs coming to town, which once again is going to be another game that's going to be fireworks. There's going to be really what's going to stick out to me, especially in these TVC games. It's the high level coaching, and that's one of the things that I think goes underrated. A lot of people, especially at the high school level, you're focusing on what's going on the field between the lines, what the guys individually are doing. Maybe you're looking at your kid, maybe you're looking at your grandson, something along those lines. We hear about that all the time, of course, and you're kind of forgetting what goes on in the days before that. From that night that game ends Friday night, Rusty Richards, of course, himself already in the film room. You have your coaches starting that night, or Saturday the next morning they have coaches meetings, or Sunday they also have a coaches meeting.
Spot on.
And then 5 days of practice following that, if not already some weekend practices right after your games, and then all of a sudden it's back to next Friday and you're playing a game again.
Yeah, and you mentioned some good coaches here in the TVC. Let's just take a quick peek around the TVC for just a moment here. I'm just looking at Nelsonville's schedule, and let's look around. Obviously, we just spoke with Coach Rusty Richards. How about we get to week 5 on their slate? We got Waterford on that schedule, and nothing against Terry Holbert. He did he's going to do a great job in Trimble, just hasn't quite built it yet. Coach Eric McCutcheon in his 11th season in Waterford, 718 win percentage, 774 or now 75 and 29 in his time there. And that's a program with a 411 win percentage all time. So he's obviously, doing a great job there. I think Coach Nolan Yates down at Megs does a really good job when he's got the right pieces. And then obviously Nathan White for Athens. Everyone knows what he's done with the Bulldogs in his 9th season. So, they're, like you said, some very high level coaches. That's what makes these games so much fun. And for me, just in Southern High football, these are the guys that help make the product that we get to see what it is because of their operations behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at Megs real quick. You got me off track, admittedly, a little bit.
I have a tendency to do that, folks.
That's okay. That's what the post game show's all about. We've talked about it before. We go from our pregame, which is more broadcast style. Now it's a little more podcast style, a little more chill.
That's right.
To wrap down your Friday night, hopefully in the best way possible. We're doing our best here in the War Room. We know that much. But looking at the Megs game from tonight, as I mentioned, definitely a highly touted program. Nolan Yates, stepping into a newer role, and really did a nice job utilizing his weapons last week in that win at Eastern Megs. However, you run into what feels like an early season buzzsaw taking on the Sims Valley Vikings and Bronx Carpenter at quarterback, who has been absolutely outstanding in his first 2 weeks of action. So, when you have those early seasons tests, and it's kind of what we just talked about in the last segment about Ironton, that's only going to make you all the better. And then when it finally comes time, you're playing a Nelsonville York team who has seen a lot of film at that point, is going to have a lot of film on this Megs Marauders team. It almost makes it feel like it's going to be a lot more of a chess game, as you would like to put it.
Yeah, I mean, and these games early in the season teach you they show you things about your team. They show you who you're going to become down the road.
Yep.
There's a lot of writing on the wall, especially weeks 1 and 2. That show you, okay, this type of team we're likely to have if something doesn't change.
Yep.
And if I need to make the right adjustments, and if I got to do something with my football team to kind of get the wheels back on, then I still have an opportunity to do that. And the first 2 weeks doesn't have to be your identity, but it most of the time it is if you don't make the right adjustments, right? So for high school football, I just think that's why these 2 weeks are so important, and especially teams that come out the gate 0-2. It's easy to be on a high level when you're 2-0, or if you're 1-1 and you knocked off a rival.
Yep.
But when you're 0-2, even if you play two very good opponents, when you're 0-2, it doesn't feel right. All that work in the summer you're putting in, no one thinks, in week 2 or week 3 I'm going to be heading into the third game of the year 0-2.
And I think the main thing for me with football, and this really applies to all levels of football, you only have so few games every season. In high school, I mean, you might only be playing 10 games a season. So, when you start off 0-2 or 0-3, and it gets to that point, and then all of a sudden you're going away from the stuff that you've worked on all summer because you're thinking, well, we can't be complacent. We can't just sit here and continue to barely lose these games or, have a few small mistakes that's costing us these games. And then all of a sudden you're really trying to turn a 180 on what you've already worked on and what you've been working on the past few months. And, sometimes it feels a little premature, and you're going to, obviously going along with that, you're going to hear a lot of things from other coaches. You're going to hear a lot of things from players. You're going to hear a lot of things from parents about the way that a head coach should do his or her job. And, it kind of creates a pretty odd situation. And a team that I look at, just speaking of teams that have had more of a rocky start, the Logan Chieftains, who are going to have a lot of tough competition down the road. And now you're sitting at 0-2 and you're wondering, what levels of the game plan need some adjustment in order to try to recover in what is going to be a continually tough schedule.
I think you just try to make the next right move. Every play, you just try to make the next right play. Every play is designed to do what you ran it and how you ran it in practice, right? So just try to do that. Go out on the field and, not every deep ball you throw is going to connect. Not every run play you draw up is going to be a home run play that's going to be, Zeke through the heart of the South, right? It doesn't always work like that. So, for teams that are struggling, it's just make the next right play. The game's won. The game's not won by any one snap, but it is won any one snap at a time. So I just think it's important. If you're finding yourself caught in the whirlwind of we're not playing well, the sky's way too far up, right? Everything's going the other way. I think when you just stop and reel it all in and go, well, all we're trying to do is get better today. All we're trying to do is make the right next play to put the ball in the end zone or take it away from the other team. Football becomes a lot simpler. And that's what you're trying to do in those situations. Just simplify the game.
I said it in the pregame. I'll say it in the postgame. The KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, can be the key that unlocks a lot of answers. Maybe for some of these teams or coaches that might be listening in this evening, just a little food for thought for your Friday night. It's about time for a break. We've been babbling for what feels like maybe a little longer than we should have at this point. Nevertheless, we'll come back. We have a few more call-ins planned for this evening before we wrap up action. It's been Football Friday Nights presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
Looking for unbeatable deals on the gear you love? Then get to the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store in Nelsonville. Check out their buy one, get two free section. That's right, 3 pairs for the price of 1. Need another deal? Check out their rack shoes. Good hard-working boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press
We've all been there. At Corby Leach State Farm, you can skip the phone maze because you'll talk to real humans. People who know your name, understand your community, and are ready to help protect what matters most. Auto, home, renters, life, or business insurance. You'll get real conversations and real help every step of the way. Call Corby Leach State Farm today at 740-385-6878.
Real humans, real help, real good neighbor.
Calling all community champions. Jackson County Banking Center has a new account especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. Get rewards, discounts, and other benefits with Community Champions Checking. School secretaries, hospital housekeeping, dispatchers, and nurses are a fraction of the people who deserve something extra for their dedication to others. Our community champions make the world better. Visit bcnbfamily.bank or your local branch to open today. Member FDIC.
From first kicks to Friday night touchdowns, I'm Carrie, owner of a Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound right here in Jackson. At a Future Look, we're all about celebrating life's sweetest moments, bringing families together, and supporting the local athletes and families who make our community so special. From seeing your little one before they arrive to cheering them on from the sidelines years later, we're honored to be a part of your family's story. Visit afuturelook.com to book your ultrasound experience today, and follow A Future Look on Facebook for adorable baby moments, updates, and more. A Future Look 3D/4D ultrasound from first kicks to Friday night lights.
Need a ride to your medical appointment? Medication ready for pickup? A.T. Hoy, LLC has you covered. We provide fast, safe, reliable transportation for medical recipients in Hocking, Ross, and Benton counties. And we're proud to announce we're serving Benton County veterans. We thank you for your service. A.T. Hoy is always looking to expand our crew. Apply online or drop anchor at one of these 3 locations today and grab an application. Call 740-596-0536 today to see if you qualify for free transportation. A.T. Hoy, charting a course for care.
Winter will be here before you know it. Now's the perfect time to make sure your furnace is ready before the cold air arrives. Trust Airclaws Heating and Cooling for dependable maintenance, repairs, and new installations. They're locally owned, proudly serving all of Southeast Ohio, and servicing all brands to keep your family warm and comfortable all winter long. Find Airclaws online and call today. Airclaws, your local heating and cooling experts. Visit online and call today. Airclaws.
WKOV, Oak Hill, Jackson. A Total Media Group station.
Boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
When you find the place that feels right, you want to know you're in good hands. At Farmers Bank, we'll help you move forward with a mortgage that fits your life and a team that stays with you every step of the way. Working with someone local who gets to know and understand you can make all the difference. Let's get you home for good. Farmers Bank. Stay for good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 464173. Visit fbsc.com/welcome home.
You're listening to Football Friday Nights on Total Media Radio.
We welcome you back once again. Football Friday Nights, the post-game edition, brought to you by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. We have another guest on tap for you, Christian Downey, who was down for that Chesapeake-Memphis matchup. Memphis victorious in that one, a final score of 28-13 for the mighty Memphis Falcons. Christian, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good, Eric. Thank you for having me on tonight.
No problem at all. We will look at that matchup a little closer. The first thing I actually want to ask about for Memphis' case, it is a first-year head coach in Josh Bailey. And just, really tell me what you saw from him tonight, what you saw from that entire coaching staff, and how they were able to claim that 15-point victory.
Well, we got to talk to him before the game, and one thing that he really wanted to establish, not only tonight but the whole season, is they really want to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And they are really creative in the way they do it. They run this like wing T offense, a lot of misdirection, and they have 3 or 4 different backs that they go to. So it's very difficult to defend, and I thought they made some great adjustments tonight. They were down early in the game, and going into halftime, they came out and really responded in a huge way. So I thought overall tonight,
Josh Bailey and his coaching staff did a great job.
So looking back to week one, Memphis dropping that one to Rock Hill, a final score of 20-49. However, you look at a game this week, and Rock Hill just put up a great game against Boyd County down in Kentucky. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the game of the Boyd County Lions, and they are a very solid program. However, the final score of that one, Boyd County victorious 39-36. So Rock Hill staying in that game, just a 3-point loss. Really, it kind of makes me feel like Memphis putting up 20 points on Rock Hill in Pedro, of course, there in that week one matchup is a very telling sign of, what's to be a solid Memphis offense. So can you kind of speak on that and, just given that final score of the Rock Hill game, what to kind of look forward to with that team as well?
Yeah, as you said, Eric, Rock Hill's a very tough place to play. They have a great complex up there in Pedro, and I agree with you. Sometimes the final score isn't indicative of how good a team actually is. Yep. And like you said, Memphis putting up 20 points against what is looking like to be a very good Rock Hill team is really good. And tonight, I think we all thought it would be a really good game against Chesapeake. Chesapeake coming off a tough loss against Sims Valley. I think anytime you have two 0-1 teams playing against each other, there's always a bit of a chip on each other, on both teams' shoulders. And Chesapeake, it was really polar opposite of the game. Chesapeake came out guns a-blazing in the first half, and then Memphis made some adjustments in coming out of halftime and really just took that game over.
Now, looking ahead to next week, a game that's a little closer to home, I'll also ask you about kind of the knitted communities between these two teams. Of course, Memphis going on the road to take on Eastern Pike up there in Beaver. Eastern, of course, bouncing back with that win over Oak Hill earlier this evening. And now both these teams are 1-1 on the season. And as I mentioned, schools that are pretty closely related, have seen each other a lot in all sports given conference play. And, really just tell me the relationship between these two teams and kind of what you're expecting looking ahead to week 3.
I would expect another great game between Memphis and Eastern Pike. It's crazy that Eastern Pike, I don't even think they've had a football team for a decade. And the job that the coaches there have done in the short time they've had a football program is amazing. I mean, they were really good last year, came up a little shorter than maybe what they were expecting, but regardless, they had a great season. And Memphis also been a very competitive team for a long time. I think these two teams, they more so meet each other in basketball than they do football. So it should be an interesting matchup. I don't know off the top of my head the last time if they've played in football. So it should be a very interesting game, and I would expect that Eastern Pike Beaver crowd is a great home field advantage and a 12th man for them. So I would expect another great game.
So you talked about kind of historically Memphis' success, and really, as you mentioned, it's not only in football, but it's as well, basketball and baseball. And I'm actually a South Webster graduate, and just some of those Memphis teams that South Webster had to take on were really out of this world in those sports. Of course, not on the football field. We never quite got that opportunity, but just talk about kind of the legacy, the dynasty, what Memphis is building there, and overall, kind of what you were seeing tonight from the crowd and the town in general.
Yeah, Eric, well, I'm a Valley graduate, so I'm not too far away from it. So, yeah, I mean, like you just said, they're always good at everything. Football, they've been really good at baseball. Coach Eli Daniels does a really great job there with the baseball program. And in football, wow, they've always been really competitive. Basketball, Coach Josh Shoemaker, who was the coach there for a very long time, they made several deep runs at the Convocation Center in the tournament. Brent Daniels, who was the football coach there for nearly 20 years, if not 20 years, had a lot of success with the football program, and he really kind of built it up into what it is today. I know they had a rough season last year, but I mean, you're going to have down years here and there, but overall, Memphis in every sport, I don't remember the last time they were just not good. They've always been very competitive, and a team that you definitely have to prepare for, and you don't really want to see on your schedule.
I agree with you. Christian, man, you got to see a really good football game tonight, Chesapeake and Minford. We got to touch on that one. I want to look ahead next week. Where are you at next week? You guys are all in Portsmouth down there. You guys are all over the place. You guys do a great job in all things sports down there. Where are you personally at next week?
I am at Spartan Stadium for the Notre Dame and Fisher Catholic game.
Want to give us a quick preview of what you anticipate in that one?
Yeah, Notre Dame got their first win of the season against Fayetteville Perry tonight, 27-7, under first-year head coach Stephen Irwin.
First win in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a first-time head coach too, so happy for Stephen Irwin to get his first win. Looking forward to seeing Notre Dame. Always enjoy going to Spartan Stadium to do a game. You just feel the history as soon as you walk into that place. You just think about the people who have played there and announced games there. And luckily that Shawnee State is taking over that and renovating that because they're getting a football program as well. So it's really exciting things for Spartan Stadium. Notre Dame should be a Fisher Catholic. They've been up the last few seasons, and it's a pretty even series, so I would expect a very good game. Fisher Catholic is always very competitive, and Division 7 as a whole is very competitive as well. So I would expect the Titans to come out and hopefully get another victory.
One of the most storied stadiums in all of Southern Ohio, man. You're going to have a fun one next week. That's going to be a fun football game. Christian, man, thanks for taking the time to join us, man. We appreciate everything you do and that Portsmouth crew down there. If anyone's wanting to tune into more Portsmouth area football action, they'll have an opportunity to do that tomorrow morning. Saturday morning sports line. Help me, I got too many coaches shows. 9:30? 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Yep, 9 to 11.
Okay, thank you. 9 to 11 on WNXT AM Sportsmouth.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys and everything you do for us. You get to your weekend. Have a good one.
You too, Eric. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you, my friend. Christian Downey, one of the many wonderful voices down in the Portsmouth area, neck of the woods, man. And he gave us a really quick, really good rundown of not only the game he was at tonight, but a few of the area teams down there, and just a really busy 9-team football county in our neck of the woods. It's a great football county.
Absolutely. And, that being, as you just mentioned, right, my neck of the woods, I grew up around it. As I mentioned, if I wanted to catch high school football in Scioto County on a Friday night, I had to go away from home. Absolutely. And I did have some great choices. Friday nights, as far as South Webster went, had to wait till we got a little closer to winter and caught some pretty good basketball games. Of course, I remember Mix 99.3 WNXT. Of course, Chuck Greenslate was there for a lot of our games. Story program, which I'll hopefully get to talk about once we get closer to basketball season.
Brother, absolutely.
We aren't quite there yet. We'll actually step away once again. Another quick break. We're about to wrap things up. T-minus just under 30 minutes until we are out of here, moving on from our Friday. We have another guest coming up on tap for you next. It's Football Friday Nights, presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute is proud to be a provider of sports medicine close to home. Their advanced medical team and experienced Adina Health athletic trainers are ready to help you relieve pain and regain strength and mobility. Call 740-779-FIND. That's 740-779-FIND. Or visit adina.org/AOSI today to get back in the game. That's adina.org/AOSI.
For more than 90 years, Austin Powder's Red Diamond plant has been part of the Southern Ohio community, and today that legacy is stronger than ever. Austin Powder continues investing in the people and communities that make this region strong. They're now hiring for several positions, including maintenance technicians starting at $24 to $32 an hour, electrical and instrumentation technicians starting at $28 to $32 an hour, and operations positions starting at $19 to $28 an hour. Apply today at austinpowder.com/United States/careers or call 740-596-5286.
COAD Senior Programs is a proud sponsor of all of Southeastern Ohio football programs and all of their student athletes. To become an AmeriCorps Senior Volunteer who makes a difference in your community, call 740-594-8499 or find them on the web by searching COAD Senior Programs. COAD, improving the quality of life for individuals and families in Appalachian, Ohio since 1971.
It's game on time, Southern Ohio. Time to sit on those metal bleachers and cheer loud for your favorite high school football team. The only thing that might make the night better is a more comfortable seat. You know I'm right. As a proud supporter of all the area teams here at Globe Furniture, we have the solution for you. A brand new recliner. And while that may not work at those high school games, college game day, NFL games at home, we've got you covered. Recliners starting at $5.99 right here at Globe Furniture in downtown Chillicothe.
When you find the place that feels right, you want to know you're in good hands. At Farmers Bank, we'll help you move forward with a mortgage that fits your life and a team that stays with you every step of the way. Working with someone local who gets to know and understand you can make all the difference. Let's get you home for good. Farmers Bank. Stay for good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 464173. Visit fbsc.com/welcome home.
Looking for the sleek, modern look of standing seam roofing without the premium price? Introducing the new Quad Rib panel from Higgins Steel Roofing. Quad Rib delivers the clean appearance homeowners love while using an exposed fastener system for faster, more affordable installation. Choose from 8 textured colors and 16 smooth colors to match any home or building. Get the look you want at a price you'll love. Visit Higgins Steel Roofing and ask about the new Quad Rib roofing panel.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press 2.
We've all been there. At Corby Leach State Farm, you can skip the phone maze because you'll talk to real humans. People who know your name, understand your community, and are ready to help protect what matters most. Auto, home, renters, life, or business insurance. You'll get real conversations and real help every step of the way. Call Corby Leach State Farm today at 740-385-6878.
Real humans, real help, real good neighbor.
Yes, the 4th of July fireworks may be over, but the festivities for America's 250th birthday are still in full swing. Because at America 250 Ohio, we're honoring both America and our state with hundreds of events in all 88 Ohio counties. From historic talks to Ohio-related films to driving trails of discovery. So go to america250ohio.org to find an event near you, because there's never been a better time to honor this amazing place we all call home. Sponsored by the Ohio History Connection, aired by the OAB and this station.
Of the Portsmouth Trojans, the Athens Bulldogs go on the road to West Chillicothe to take on the Unio Sherman Tanks, falling short 33-14. The Eastern Eagles bounce back after that Week 1 loss, 49-7 victors over the Oak Hill Oaks here in Week 2. The South Point Pointers build off that Week 1 victory over the Eastern Eagles we just mentioned, 38-0 shutout win over the Southern Tornadoes. Speaking of teams bouncing back here in Week 2, the Jackson Ironmen 55-0 victorious over Gallia Academy. A wonderful win for the Jackson faithful in that rivalry matchup here in Week 2. Chesapeake falling to Memphis, the game we just talked about, 28-13. The Piketon Red Streaks victorious on the road there over Wellston, 43-8. Northwest falls to the McLean Tigers, 34-7. Wheelersburg, a shocking loss in some sorts to a very good Chillicothe Cavaliers squad. Don't forget the name, Carte Ligon, 26-18 victors, the Chillicothe Cavaliers. Southeastern up there in Chillicothe, the Panthers playing host to the Green Bobcats. From down here in Franklin Furnace, 44-13 victory for Southeastern. The Huntsmen bounce back from a Week 1 overtime loss, 34-7 victors over Bern Union. Benton County puts up a 60 burger on this beautiful Friday night, 60-33 victory over the Paint Valley Bearcats. Cold Grove falls short to Adena, 12-8, a low scoring matchup here. Logan Elm, the Braves, 54-20 victorious in their matchup this evening over the Westfall Mustangs. Nelsonville York, 48-6 victors over Logan. Circleville in a close game, a win over Washington Courthouse, 28-26. Fairland victorious, bouncing back now 1-1, 33-7 over Point Pleasant. Licking Valley gets a win over the Amanda Clear Creek Aces, 40-7. Goshen, the Warriors, hosting Hillsboro, 49-7 victory. Trimble shuts out FCA, Fairfield Christian Academy, 42-0. Wilmington, the Hurricanes, 35-7 victorious over the Miami Trace Panthers. New Life Complex. The Panthers 36-14 victory over the Philo Electrics. Sheridan, the Generals, they get a win over Watkins Memorial. The Warriors 21-14. The Warren Warriors, 28-21 victory over Morgan. Clear Fork Colts 38-12 victory over Zanesville. Taking a trip a little further down the road, Taze Valley a 35-14 victory over Bloom Carroll. Any more games going on in our area is the question I'm left looking at, and I believe the last one on our list, Frontier, the Cougars 45-14 victory over the Magnolia Blue Eagles. Give me a second to take a breath, Eric. I will pass things over to you here with Pete Wilson.
Well, I mean, without any further ado, as we wrap up some of the major scores around the area, how about we go take a look at one of the biggest rivalries in the area this evening, the Jackson Ironmen, victorious on the road at Memorial Field. Some of you on KOV may know that as the Swamp. You don't have to refer to it as the Swamp tonight if you don't have to. But we got the great Pete Wilson with us in studio tonight to take us through a fun one down at Memorial Field. If you're an Ironman fan, but if you're listening on BYG, it might not have been such a great night.
Probably not, I'm guessing. But I tell you what, everything went right for the Ironmen. Everything went wrong for the Blue Devils.
Sure.
You figure, you might have a competitive game there. Gallipolis, a lot of returning players from last year. Jackson, losing at Unioto and not playing up to their normal standard. But in the first series, Gallipolis fumbles the opening kickoff. Jackson has it on the 20-yard line. This is on the very first series. Gallipolis kind of has them stopped. Jackson scores a touchdown, loses it on an illegal procedure penalty. So they're back at the 20-yard line, and they have Tanner Jenkins, who has long-distance field goal possibilities, but they go for it on 4th and 10 from the 20-yard line, and they throw a pass into the end zone. Gallipolis safety goes up, deflects it right into the hands of Dayton County. The Ironmen's wide out, so they're up 7-0 on the first series. Next series, Gallipolis gets the ball. Second series, have a bad snap to the shotgun snap to the quarterback, recovered by Jackson. They score very quickly from the 14-yard line. It's 13-0 really quickly.
Yeah.
Gallipolis 3 and out on their next series. First play from the 50-yard line, C.J. Crabtree hits a rainbow to Dayton counter over the Gallipolis defense, and it's 20-0 inside of the first 5 minutes of the game, and so it went.
Yeah.
Gallipolis never could get any footing at all. Blake Shelton, who was considered, their top offensive performer after the injury to Max Canaday.
Right.
The Ironman scouting report had, we're watching Blake Shelton wherever he goes, backfield, flanker or whatever. We're going to follow him around. He ended up with 19 carries for 21 yards tonight.
Wow.
So they were all over him. They couldn't get the ball to him in the passing game. Gallipolis has a freshman quarterback who I think is going to be pretty good, but the Ironmen harassed him. He didn't have time to throw the ball at all. The way it turned out stat-wise, guys, Gallipolis settles for 3 first downs and 20 net yards tonight.
Wow.
While the Ironmen roll up 325 yards. They're up 48-0 at halftime. Now, Carl Blaylock, who covered the game for the Telegram, he's on one of the sites. I didn't even know this myself. He says in the long series of Jackson and GAHSS that this is the largest victory margin in history. 55-0.
Wow.
Last year, of course, 56-3 at Alumni Stadium. And I can tell you from the Jackson side of things, expecting a dogfight down there because that's what happens.
That's always what happens.
When these two teams get together, Gallipolis, with basically a senior team, we're hoping for a lot. Max Canaday, who was considered one of the top players in the area, certainly in the OVC, goes down in the preseason with an ACL. He's out there on crutches. So I know that had to be hard for Gallipolis to overcome. But after the way the game started, it just got away from him. And Jackson, I know, Coach Andy Hall, so happy after, he felt like the team did not play up to its potential against Unioto, coming back to win 55-0 tonight. We'll give them some momentum as they go down to Wheelersburg next Friday. And, they've gone back and forth, Jackson and Wheelersburg, in recent years. Wheelersburg, of course, went to the state last year.
Sure.
But the Ironmen will go down ready to take them on, I'm sure.
And that's going to be a great football game, and we'll get to that one in just a moment. But there's not many people who have the stories and the history behind this rivalry, Jackson Guy Academy, that maybe you do. And I feel like this rivalry since Coach Hall's taken over, it's kind of gotten one-sided now. I think 11-1 in his tenure against Guy Academy. It's kind of lost a little bit of its luster. Maybe folks don't quite remember what it was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But this was quite the rivalry, and this might have been the last game ever played between these two schools at that field.
It will be. It's not a 100% certainty.
Sure.
But Gallipolis Academy plans to be on campus next year.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a grass field, not turf. Maybe it'll go to turf later on, but they're working on that field now. At Memorial Stadium, great history, but a bank of lights went out late in that game.
I was wondering what was going on.
Right.
So.
This was after halftime, and you wondered, were they going to cancel the game? It was already 48-0, but they just played from the 50 they just played on one half of the field, and then magically the lights came back on to start the fourth quarter, and they had all 100 yards to play with.
What a fitting way to play that game, you know.
But I think the Gallipolis-Jackson series, Dan looked it up and said it. I believe it's something like 49-47 or something. Still in Gallipolis' favor.
It is 50-45.
Is that what it is?
I believe, or something along those lines.
It's very close.
Very close.
I'm so glad that those teams are playing a rivalry game again. I know it's been one-sided the last 2 years. I don't think it'll probably stay that way if there's any kind of thing to history. But 4-year contract, so we've got 2 more games.
I didn't realize that. Okay,
it's a 4-year contract, so I did not know that myself, but the two ADs both told me that, and the Gallipolis AD very much in favor of this series continuing. And he simply said, you play Jackson down the road less than an hour away. Why would you travel a couple hours away to play somebody where you have no tradition or history or fan interest?
Right. Yep. And Adam Clark, he gets this series. He's a great AD over there at Guy Academy. He really gets it. We know what Waylon Massey does at Jackson.
About it. He told me himself.
That's great to hear. It protects the very long-standing history that is this rivalry. Let's look ahead at Wheelersburg next week. They're going to be bouncing back after a tough loss tonight at Herrnstein Field to a team the Ironmen will see in Week 10. Hopefully some FAC implications in that game still. What are you expecting from a Wheelersburg team that's going to be probably a little upset at Miller Stadium next week?
I'm not sure that's good for the Ironmen that Wheelersburg lost to Chillicothe. Last year, one of the an outstanding Jackson team with a senior team, 3 or 4 Division I players. They lose to Wheelersburg at home.
Right.
So this will be tough to go down there and play. However, before last year, Jackson had won like 3 in a row or something like that. But it always seems to come down to the last quarter. I remember one time at Wheelersburg. 2 years ago, it came down to the last play of the game. Bodie Wooford diving in for the touchdown.
Right.
So I think that Jackson gained some traction, gained a lot of confidence tonight.
Yeah.
Unioto was definitely a setback. Jackson is playing with a lot of new starters. Most of the defense is new. The skill players are new too. But I tell you what, a lot of difference between Week 1 and Week 2, regardless of who the opponents were.
And that's what you want to see if you're an Ironman fan for sure. Anything else from Memorial Field before you get back to the Telegram work?
Some stats were very good.
Please.
CJ Crabtree, 2 out of 13 against Unioto. Things didn't go well when they had to pass. That's not the Ironman's calling card. It's going to be run first. But against Gallia Academy, the play action pass is going to be big in the Jackson playbook. 4 out of 4 for 116 yards.
Wow.
3 touchdowns. Dayton Counter catches all 3 touchdowns.
Good for Dayton.
Passing proficiency is through the roof on there. So, I'm sure even though he's a senior and we know he's athletically talented, that had to be a big boost for CJ Crabtree's confidence. And Dayton Counter emerges, as we thought he would, as a threat in the receiving game.
I think CJ needed to prove to him, and he started a couple of games last year, but I think he really needed to prove to himself that he can be that weapon in the offense for his team.
Right, and the defense tonight, they gave up big plays against Unioto that killed them, and some big mistakes as well. But the gang tackling tonight was very impressive. I mean, there was 3 or 4 Ironman helmets, especially on Blake Shelton whenever he got the ball, and that's who Gallipolis went to, and that's what the scouting report said.
Yeah.
So, just an all-around feel-good victory for the Ironmen after having a bad taste in their mouth in Week 1.
Well, sir, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday evening.
I know you guys have to cover the waterfront, and you do you do a great job doing it.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Get back to your evening at the Telegram. Mr. Pete Wilson, sir, thank you so much. That is one of the voices of the Jackson Ironman. And you mentioned, your time with Chuck Greenslade. It's always so much fun for me when those Jackson guys join us, man. We got to get to a break, final break of the hour. But hey, we got bills to pay.
Yeah.
We got to keep lights on around here.
That's right.
We're hanging out till midnight with you, of course. Could be walking around in the dark. We'll be right back to wrap up Football Friday Nights here in just a moment, presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Stay tuned for more on Football Friday Nights.
Looking for unbeatable deals on the gear you love? Then get to the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store in Nelsonville. Check out their buy one, get two free section. That's right, 3 pairs for the price of 1. Need another deal? Check out their rack shoes. Good hard-working boots for just $40. As always, they're loaded with the new styles from Rocky, Georgia, Durango, Muck, and Extra Tough. Fresh arrivals, classic favorites, and rugged footwear built for whatever the day throws at you. Only at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Press 1 if you know your party's extension. Press
Representative! We've all been there. At Corby Leach State Farm, you can skip the phone maze because you'll talk to real humans. People who know your name, understand your community, and are ready to help protect what matters most. Auto, home, renters, life, or business insurance. You'll get real conversations and real help every step of the way. Call Corby Leach State Farm today at 740-385-6878.
Real humans, real help, real good neighbor.
Big projects, tough challenges, strong communities.
For more than 80 years, Stockmeister Construction Services has helped shape Southern Ohio through trusted construction, design-build solutions, mechanical contracting, and custom fabrication.
Learn more at stockmeister.com or call 740-286-8000. Looking for a rewarding career? Visit jobs.stockmeister.com. Stockmeister Construction Services. We can do together.
The Medicare open enrollment period takes place annually from October 15th through December 7th. During this time, Medicare beneficiaries can make changes to their Part D prescription drug plan and Part C Medicare Advantage plans. The Area Agency on Aging District 7 can help answer questions and offer unbiased information and direction for Medicare beneficiaries. For more information, call 1-800-582-7277 or email info@aaa7.org.
Calling all community champions. Jackson County Banking Center has a new account especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. Get rewards, discounts, and other benefits with Community Champions checking. School secretaries, hospital housekeeping, dispatchers, and nurses are a fraction of the people who deserve something extra for their dedication to others. Our community champions make the world better. Visit bcnbfamily.bank or your local branch to open today. Member FDIC.
African Safari Wildlife Park, the Midwest's only drive-through safari park, is home to many animals from around the world. Feed the animals up close and personal from the comfort of your own vehicle. Stroll the walkthrough with its many exciting animals on exhibit and enjoy educational animal programs. Visit the gift shop for souvenirs, food, and cold drinks. Don't miss out on the fun and family adventure and the unbeatable photo opportunities at African Safari Wildlife Park, located in Port Clinton, Ohio. For more details, visit AfricanSafariWildlifePark.com.
Still a few more minutes of your time, and then we're going to be out of here. But even though nobody technically asked for it, we're going to give you some of our weekend plans looking ahead to tomorrow. I will actually be at that Salem, New Jersey, the Rams, paying a visit to Tanks Memorial Stadium to take on the Ironton Fighting Tigers. Of course, we'll have a crew on site for all the action and the coverage of that game tomorrow, and the Tiger King himself, Jason Filial, will also be on site. I'll try to get with him tomorrow, hopefully some photos, videos. You guys can have some stuff to look at for your Saturday in high school football. Looking at the next level, collegiate level football, Eric, you've been covering this Rio Grande Red Storm team pretty hot and heavy, and this season's about to pick up. Week 0 action, of course, starting in the college football world, starting tomorrow.
I got a 3.5-hour trip north in the morning, and I can't wait. Rio football on the road at Defiance College tomorrow. Second time these two teams have played in the last couple of years, and this one obviously one of 9 games that didn't go the way of the Red Storm just a season ago, but I'm really excited about this team and the Mike Bartram era, new head coach, who's done a really really nice job bringing in some really nice players, but also guys that were in the area as some pretty key players in the area. Jacob Winters, former Jackson quarterback who spent some time over OU, scored BQB1 for this Red Storm football team. So he's kind of returning home to Jackson to lead this program. Dorian Bryant, familiar face down in Portsmouth, who was the number 1 JUCO player in the country, spent some time at Troy. He's now with the Rio program as well. And Coach Richards was on here earlier and mentioned a young man named Caleb Layton, who was one of the most disruptive defensive linemen in the state of Ohio a season ago. I think he had like 19 sacks or something outstanding a season ago. He's also donning a Red Storm jersey. So a lot of exciting local faces a part of this Red Storm program, and I'm really excited to see what product Coach Bartram puts on the field, and we'll see what happens tomorrow up north.
As soon as you mentioned the name Bryant, that's what clicked with me. Of course, being a Marshall graduate this past year, we love the Sun Belt. We call it the Fun Belt down there in Huntington, and teams like Troy, just the way those teams play the game of football at the college level. A lot of people, you're focusing on your Ohio States, on your Georgia, your Texas, your Alabama. That's what everyone's seeing, that 7:30 slot on primetime, or their 12 o'clock, unfortunately, for the Big Ten fans on that big noon kickoff, getting the day games. But nevertheless, that Sun Belt action, it gives you such a versatile amount of offense. It's kind of it somewhat mirrors what you see now in Southeastern Ohio high school level football, and we get to see how that translates now for the Red Storm.
Yeah, we do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then let's talk about their coach. Guy Academy fans, you're familiar with this name. How about Coach Cole Carter back down in the area after spending some time up north at Brunswick? He's back, and he's going to be the OC of this program, led by Mike Bartram. And just really excited to see inside and out what this program, the time that they've put in from 245 days ago, basically, to now, since Coach Bartram is taking over. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think these guys are excited. They're playing the game of football for the right reasons, and nothing's better to watch or to call than that type of ball.
And, of course, we talked about I will be on site for that Ironton-Salem matchup tomorrow. We have just a few more moments with you, but looking ahead to next week, I believe Eric and myself will be meeting on Monday. We'll try to finalize something, see what we can do interview-wise, getting on site. But I think we might be heading back down there to Ironton for Week 3, playing host to Archbishop McNicholas. I mentioned a highly touted program. A lot of people are familiar with McNicholas, not only in that southwestern Ohio area, but also southeastern Ohio. A lot of people are familiar with that squad and what they are capable of. Of course, next week also being the return of Ironton head coach Trevin Pendleton. Going to be very exciting. I'm going to hopefully get to talk to him sometime next week. We'll see what he has to say, how he's feeling heading into next week's action for that Week 3 FFN game of the week. We should be there on Friday at 5 o'clock. Make sure to look out for us. But I think that's all we have for this evening. We're going to get ready to wrap things right up here. Of course, like I mentioned, be ready to join us next Friday at 5, and then once again on the post-game show back here at the Plaza at 9:30. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been Football Friday Nights presented by Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Football Friday Nights on Total Media Radio. Football Friday Nights presented by the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store and is brought to you by
the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store, Vinton County National Bank, Area Agency on Aging District 7, Holzer Health System, Globe Furniture, Stockmeister Construction, A.T. Hoy Transportation, A Future Look, Atomic Credit Union, Willis Advantage Property Solutions, Rick's Tire and Auto, Adina, Higgins Steel Roofing, Austin Powder, Corby Leach Insurance Agency, Air Claws Heating and Cooling, Farmers Bank, and Coad.
This has been a production of Total Media Sports Network. All rights reserved.